You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next big thing, the latest up-and-coming sports journalist, your host, Nathan Snell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're having a great week so far. Happy Wednesday. This episode 15, season 15 of the podcast, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This episode is recorded. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. There was supposed to be an NBA draft grades video. And due to outside commitments, I'm finishing up summer school for my BA. That video will not happen. However, Major League Baseball their draft is coming up soon, and the All-Star break is almost here. Much needed, thank goodness. So we're gonna do some grades for that. Brendan Potts cannot join us this evening on this episode for Week 7. His birthday is this Friday, so I want to give him a pre-birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Brendan! Hope you enjoy your week and have a great birthday weekend. So also too, after the 11th of July, that's when you'll see more content come out. Episodes will still be recorded, but you'll get more consistency with the recording. Also to the uploads with the WNBA content for the Mystics, the Las Vegas Aces, and the Connecticut Sun, they'll be uploaded as well. So just stay tuned for that. I appreciate the support, your patience. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the support you're giving me in this channel. Again, do apologize, but we will be back on track. Week 7 was a very interesting week. Some things happened in the week, and we're going to talk about that with one particular team. But for the most part, I do think that with these teams, it's fair. Nothing's changed. I don't think nothing will change for now as we get into it. Number 12, Phoenix Mercury. I got the interesting stat for you. I want you to check this out. They are last in offense, and they have the worst defensive rating. There are actually, the way they're playing, they're on pace to finish, I think, with a negative net double rating. And again, I just think it's really like the return of BG is great, but it's really hard to get a true grasp of their identity. I don't think Skylar Diggins-Smith is going to be with them going forward for the future. I think she wants out. I really, really don't know where they're going with this direction. At this point, it just looks like they're just getting ready for the draft at this point. Maybe I think we got another week before we go to the All-Star break. I think maybe just kind of knowing, getting a feel of the rotations. I think Michaela Onyewu has definitely picked it up. Mariah Jefferson was injured for a few games. She's starting to pick it up. I would like to see Megan Gustafsson get more minutes. Sug Satin just doing her thing, but it's just off. It's not. It's just really, really weird to look at. I mean, yeah, they broke a 6-game win streak, but that was against who? The Indiana Fever. So, like, I really can't celebrate that. I mean, I do know that sometime next week, I believe they're going to announce the hiring of their GM. I believe so. I've read somewhere where that's going to be happening soon. So stay tuned for that. I'm curious who it is. 11. I'm sorry, Brendan. Seattle. I just think this is a team again. It's other than Ezzie Magna-McGore and Jewel Lloyd, it's really just it's nothing. I mean, yeah, you had a career 41 high points with against Minnesota, but they've lost now 3 in a row and 5 out of the 6, and they've are on the East Coast. I know one of those games they got to play us. I think they get New York and Connecticut, New York, and I think like Washington's the next week. So I I don't know. I mean, this is another team other than Jewel Lloyd. This is a transition year for them. So I feel really bad for them. I feel bad for Noelle Quinn because I'm not liking some of the conversation. Should we move on from her? She doesn't really have anything to work with. If she had another star or two and they were playing like that, you may make an argument. Well, you just have Jewel Lloyd and the rest, it's just others. Like there's no Ezzie Magna-McGore I can consider like the second option, and she's a rising star for sure. But they need another. They need like a Brianna Stewart next to her, or like a Ryan Howard. They need another go-to star to play alongside Jewel. So we'll see. Number 10, the Los Angeles Sparks. I just think just injuries. The biggest thing for me though is the offense. There's just consistency wise, they just are not trusting one another, and I don't know what that is. Maybe it's certain lineups Kirk puts out there. I know with injuries, and also too, we got some non-COVID illnesses. Lexi Brown, for particular, I would appreciate if teams were more giving more communication in terms of players' progress and how they're doing. The same thing in Minnesota. I have not heard much about Jessica Shepard, and a lot of us are concerned and I hope that she's getting better and she's doing well and be back on the court soon. But it's interesting to watch them, and I think just on they're now 2-6. They lost all 3 games on the road. Another 2-6 last 8 games. And it's actually interesting. I think they've shot at least, I think I've seen the stat, under 41%. And they're like dead last in the league as an offense. So I think it's chemistry. I think it's certain lineups. But more importantly, I think they got to trust one another for me. They played Atlanta this evening, and they get Phoenix Sunday. So we shall see. Number 9, the Indiana Fever. You played Vegas back to back, and that started a 4-game losing streak. And then you get Phoenix, and then you lost to Chicago on a game-winning shot by Courtney Williams. Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, there's a spark of good news, I will say. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston were selected as All-Stars. Congratulations. I would say that's pretty much the bright spot. I still think the biggest issue is for me is there's got to be some accountability. I think you've got to trust players, and I think I would really like to know what the roles are defined, because there are possessions where I'm watching their offense, and there's one particular game, I want to say it's against Minnesota, and they're literally not even watching Aaliyah Boston seal, and she's calling for the ball in the post, and the ball, and I think it's I want to say it's Maya Hollingshead or Maya Caldwell, excuse me, and Melissa Smith just running this 2-man game. And that's just, to me, that's just not good basketball. I really do think that there's some things that need to work out chemistry wise. But I mean, other than that, I mean, this is what, when you're a young team, this is what growing pains are. And for me, I mean, they've lost 4 in a row, and now you're asking them, they had to go on the road and play, to me, what I think is a team that's going to pick it up in Minnesota, and they got 6 of their 7 games on the road. So, and defensively, other than the offense, don't get me started on their defense, because their defense is just, it's ridiculous. Other than that, that's pretty much what's happening in Indiana. Chicago, let's just get it out. Let's just get it out there. James Wade, it was announced that the Toronto Raptors had hired him, and that caused some that turned some heads. First, let me just say this: I want to wish him the best in his future endeavors. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do more for yourself and for your family. I think this is not just for sports. This is for life, period. If there's a better opportunity, take it. However, I don't like how he left them. I think he left Chicago in a very, very weird predicament. First and foremost, this is a guy who's 2 years off from winning a championship. And I think ever since winning that championship, he's always had this chip on his shoulder. Because listening to some of his pressers, he can be sensitive. And you go into this year, you've given up your future assets, and there's some free agents that you signed, like Elizabeth Williams, Courtney Williams, and you leave. We're not even in the first half of the season. I would respect it if he waited to the end of the year. That's fine. I'd have more respect for that. But I don't like, to me, it's kind of like, well, we're not winning. I mean, right now they're 8-9. I mean, but it's the way he left, in my opinion. So, Coach Van Tansveer got his first win. So congratulations to them. But I mean, other than that, I just really was not a fan of how he stepped down as general manager and head coach to take an assistant job with the Toronto Raptors. So I just don't understand now, because my question is now, after this year, because you've given up multiple first-round picks and not one to admit it's time to rebuild. So it's kind of like, where do you go from here? So we'll see. Number 7, the Minnesota Lynx. They're actually starting to pick it out. Actually, I almost arguably put them in my top 5. This was the same team that started off 0-6, painfully, and I still have some questions about some of the roster decision making. Former Maryland Terrapin, Diamond Miller, was also in this week coming back. Had a 25-point game, 25 points against Minnesota. Nafisa Collier had the game-winning shot. I want to say, who was it against? Was it against Phoenix, I want to say? I think it was Phoenix. It might have been. No, it was Seattle, excuse me. Because that game, Drew Lloyd went off as well. So they're 6-2 since their 1-7 start. And they're right back, really, if the playoffs, well, they're in a position to make the playoffs, but things are looking good for them. I'm actually really happy for them. Number 6, the Atlanta Dream. They're starting to pick it right back up as well. They kind of were in the middle. Ryan Howard, who I still think should be an all-star. I'm really hoping that she makes it because we are going to get into the top 5 because some things did happen to a particular player. And I think as an injury replacement, Ryan Howard should be playing in Elena Delle Donne's place. So that's the person I want as her replacement. Cheyenne Parker also got her first as an all-star. So congratulations to her. So, I mean, she did pretty well. I mean, against Los Angeles, I think she had, 43 points. So it should help me get a nice fantasy, nice boost in a fantasy matchup. So great. Other than wise, there's really not much to say with them. They're starting, like I said, lineups are looking a lot better. Pace is looking decent. I think when Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard are clicking, that team is tough to beat, in my personal opinion. Even watching them playing the Mystics, how they get to the foul line is something. I don't know how they do it, but they will get to the line. And yeah. I'm gonna give them their props. But before we get into the top 5, let's get into the sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast, and that is Zagnif Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to dress like you're already famous? You can and you will by checking out Zagnif Apparel.
The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC. Introducing Zagnif Apparel. Our comfortable line of leisure wear and athletic wear will have you comfortable and stylish at any occasion. Whether you're at the gym, out shopping, or just relaxing at home. Whether you're an athlete or just want to lay around the house, we've got the perfect outfit for you. Stop by our website today and pick up your favorite pieces. Zagnif Apparel. Dress like you're already famous.
And you can most certainly do that with a nice 15% off using my code for your final, when you get to the checkout for your final purchase of a nice 15% off using my code Big Nate for 15% off your final purchase. Thank you again for Zagnif Apparel for being a sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. And we're back with number 5. This was interesting, and I think this was fair, and they're picking it up too. The Dallas Wings. I think I still stay by my prediction with Tim McCown being Defensive Player of the Year. Satu Sabli should be considered an MVP. Still some things I question in terms of on the defensive side off and the offensive side of the ball. For some couple things. Odyssey Sims was signed on a hardship. So Jasmine Dickey and Ashley Jones, who I feel bad for them, they weren't even seeing the floor. So unfortunately, they were released, and they brought back Kalani Brown on her second hardship. They've both, to me, I think, have been impactful players for Dallas. I still wish Washington would have signed Kalani Brown. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But for me, I think that they're doing all the right things. I think the biggest thing for me is when they're shooting the ball consistently, they're going to win games. I still think, to me, I've always, since watching her game, I've always been a fan of Natasha Howard. Natasha Howard, when she's a true power forward. Yes, she can play the 5, but since Tara McCowan's come back from Euro basketball, I think the ball offensively moves a lot better, and she's better on the defensive glass. And I just think that starting 5 in particular, that I you can beat them, but once I think it's going to come down to the shooting for me. I think to beat teams like Vegas, Connecticut, New York, even Washington, consistency with shooting the ball. That's just me. Other than that, I think that they're doing just fine. Number 4, the Washington Mystics. Yes, it we were 1-2 last week. We got Indiana Friday and then Connecticut Sunday. Painfully, as we talked about it in the previous episode, Shakira Austin suffered a hip injury. And then painfully, Elena Deladon against the Atlanta Dream suffered an ankle injury.
I mean, damn! Damn!
I'm not concerned. I am a little worried because I do think at some point either we need to make a trade or we need to expect. I expect people to step up. I've already seen that in the midst of Shakira's injury, but now I'm going to be watching this team closely now that Elena's not out there. Right now, for me, you just got to get everybody back healthy. I think that's pretty much the thing. We could talk about the shooting, we could talk about the lineups, but I mean, I thought we did pretty good. We almost came back and beat Atlanta, and then to get our butt whooped, then to lose to Dallas Sunday, that was painful. So let's just I'm hoping it's not too severe. I'm hoping it's just a sprain. Because the way it looked, I'm hoping she's not out. Let me say she's not out for an extended period of time. So I just need the others to step up. I still think, again, it's going to be the guards. It's going to be Ariel Atkins, Brittany Sykes, Natasha Cloud. I need this is where Maisha Hines-Allen. I consider her the AT, Alyssa Thomas of this team, in my opinion. I look for Lee Mung, Tiana Hawkins. Let me give her flowers. I just feel like she's just picked it up. It's like when she first came to DC when she got traded from Seattle. It's like it's just been a breath of fresh air to see her out there, just contributing on both sides of the ball. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from her. I would like to see Amanda Zahui get some more love. I'm a little. I don't understand the usage of the rotation at all, but I think the biggest thing is just making sure we get everybody back healthy. That's just where I'm at with it. Number 3, that team in New York. Yeah, they lost to Vegas. I think, again, congratulations to Brandon Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Courtney Vandersloot, who are going to the All-Star game. But I mean, there really wasn't nothing that swept me off my feet. I think beating the Sun was about it. But I mean, that's a Sun team that unfortunately doesn't have Brianna Jones, and that's really I can't consider that. If Brianna was there, but I still don't trust them in terms of shooting wise. I need like Sabrina and John Quell got to be a little bit better shooting the ball consistently. But I mean, I think lost the game against Vegas for me. I think that should put an end to this. What's a super team? Because if you look at it, both are super teams. But with all due respect, the team in Vegas, and I like Coach Brondello, and I'll upload that video on my YouTube channel. Great coach, but Becky Hammon has a system where they've been around each other before Becky Hammon came in. This team is still figuring things out in New York, so I don't trust it still. And number 2, Connecticut again. Not having Brianna Jones out there, like I said, it's making a difference. I still think Alyssa Thomas should have been an all-star starter for me. And Dejanay Carrington is starting to pick it up. The others, I think it's going to be the key is going to be them. Is for me is the others. I still think I still picked them to go to the finals, but it's going to be harder to keep up with teams like Las Vegas and New York. I still feel like I kind of want to know, because where was Brianna in terms of all-star voting? I feel like she could have made the argument to be an all-star and then just have the injury replacement. I kind of want to know, like, how does that work? Because she was on pace to me to being an all-star, in my opinion. But it is what it is. So I think they can make a trade, but I think they're going to just stick it out and just going to tough it out. I think Connecticut will have a good second half. So, and then number 1, there's really not much to say on Vegas. I mean, they were 3-0. I mean, they beat New York by 17, Connecticut by 18. It's interesting. They had 57 assists and to only turning the ball over 19 times. That is what good basketball looks like, in my personal opinion. And they're just off to a good start. I mean, they're the third team to start 15-1. And I think they're it's like a 250 point differential, if I'm saying that correctly. So like, and the 3 teams they beat in 3 days, that is pretty damn impressive. That's pretty much all I can say about Las Vegas. I still think if you had asked me, like, there's nothing I could say. I mean, Kelsey Plum's starting to come out. She was having a little slump, and I still think Jackie Young should be considered an MVP candidate in Asia. Candace Parker, who I think had 8 assists in one of those games. They're just playing. So I like it. But let's get into the last part of Big Nate Sports Talk, and that is the final thought.
Thoughts are running through my mind. Someone took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
Final thought for me is I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week. Stay safe. We're halfway through the WNBA season. I cannot believe that. All-Star breaks here. It would be almost here. Be after next week because their All-Star game's on the 15th, which that's a Saturday. So, yeah, so stay tuned in for that. But yeah, man, thank you for joining this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Episode 16 will be out. That episode will most likely just be same thing for week 8. After that, MLB draft and the All-Star. Be tuned in for those videos as well. So please like, comment, and subscribe for all future content. Thank you for your support. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Y'all have a good night. Peace. Stay out.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the next big thing, the next up-and-coming sports journalist, Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything